patient.
Hello and welcome to yet another live video where we are going to share about and talk about another different wonderful topic today. And it was over your screen for some time. You must be already knowing about it. So without any further delay, let's get started with this video. But before that, I would like to remind you that here currently, wherever you are in this particular page. Thank you so much for watching and joining in this live video. If you're watching this live, please type hashtag live in the chats in the comments below. All right. So we at ODCH here are here to help individuals excel in their personal, professional, and social life using the power of effective communication skills. All right. So we make sure that individuals can leverage the power of communication skills in order to help themselves get better in the job that they do, in the relationship that they maintain, and various different aspects of maybe leadership and professional communication and whatnot, right? So in every aspect of it, communication is one of the most important thing that we need to be having within ourselves, right? And in proper manner, right? So English communication skill, because the world is a global village today and everyone is connected to everyone, and you never know the person in front of you, how you will be coming across him or her, and because of which you also need to be knowing a common medium through which you can interact and communicate with them, right? So without any further delay, wishing you all a very happy Gandhi Jayanti. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Let's get started on this Gandhi Jayanti special topic about authenticity, right? Yes. Let me share my screen, everyone. Just wanted to double check if my AV is clear. Please confirm in the chats in the comments below if my AV is clear. All right. Yes. Okay. All right. So authenticity in a world full of masks is the topic for today. All right. So excuse me. So the reason why I chose this topic for today's session or this today's live video is that we often make a decent gap between ourselves and the true self that we are, right? The self that we portray to the world and the true self that we actually are. Because of various reasons, we'll be discussing about them going ahead in the video. But this happens with each of us. Let's accept it. Let's face it that this happens with each one of us, right? So now how to bridge that gap, how to reduce that gap, right, is something that we need to understand. And in order to understand that, we need to first understand, right? We need to first understand. Just a second. Yeah. So understanding authenticity is the first step in that journey. All right. What does it mean? What does authenticity mean? Is something that we will be talking about first of all. Okay. So please comment. Please type in the chat box if you are with me. If you are with me, right? Yes. Awesome. Great. So without any further delay, let's start it. Let's start. Yeah. So understanding authenticity, what does it mean? Okay. So being true to yourself is something that we're going to talk about first, right? What exactly does it mean? Many of us do feel this, that we have this urge of maintaining something or portraying some kind of image to the society, right? Even if we don't have that within us readily, we try to make it and portray it to the outer world, right? And in that particular space, we need to understand that this won't work in the long term. Somehow or the other, the individual next to you will always kind of get to know about the actual self that you are, right? Yes. So it is very important for your thoughts, words, and actions to align so that you build a certain kind of credibility over the society, right? Whatever you are, right? So if you are delivering something through your words and you are not able to deliver them through your actions, right? And both of them are not aligned with your thoughts. Think about your own self. Think about the mess that you can get into because of this particular thing, right? We talk about communicating where whatever we think we can convey to the next person, we can convey to the other person. When we are at our own level, not having any clarity, how can we convince and convey something to other? Yes, right, correct. So this is a very important thing that I wanted to talk about, is being true to yourself, right? Your core values and your core beliefs need to be aligned in order for you to know, understand and know yourself, right? And the second thing is to understand the difference between genuineness and facade, right? What I just saw made you see in the chat, in the screen, right? So genuineness versus facade, what exactly does it mean? Your genuine self, your true self, is something else, and something that you portray in order to meet certain kind of expectations that that are made from you, maybe from the society, maybe from your work location, maybe from your personal relationships, right? So those are facades, and facades do fall, right? They don't stay forever. Okay, so you have to understand the difference between genuineness and facade. All right. Yes. And as I also stated about the difference between being vulnerable, right? Um, how you being vulnerable to others can really help you. I'm talking it in a positive way, right? When you are honest about yourself, people are always ready to help, right? And you have to be vulnerable enough to ask that, right? Yes, this can lead you to deeper and more meaningful connections, and people will help you to grow, right? And in order to do that, you need to be strong enough. You need to have that strength to be vulnerable. Okay, all right. So that was about the three different things that I wanted to talk about understanding authenticity. All right. Yes. Correct. So let's move on to the next point. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So we discussed about being true to yourself, genuineness and facade, vulnerability and strength. All right. So moving on to the masks that we wear. Why do we hide? Right. So these are the reasons of that: societal or social pressure and expectations. As we already know that this being a norm and this being some kind of expectation setting from the society, that you being in this position of your life need to match this particular level or this particular achievement, right? But you need to understand that is something that is not going to stay forever. What will what will stay with you is your own self, right? So it always will try to push you to wear certain kind of mask, right? The social pressure and expectation. It will always push you to have certain kind of mask, all right, and not uh, be unique or true to your own self, so that you can fit in, so that you can fit in societal atmosphere, right? They will always um, require you to be masked, right? Right, but you need to understand the difference between both of them, right? The second thing that I just saw is the fear of rejection. All right, we ourselves have that fear that if we don't do this, the society will reject us. If we don't do this, how can I succeed? Or I will not be able to convince others, right? So the fear of rejection that prevails within us is another reason. Yes, and that is a major issue, right? So if we reveal our true self, people will judge me. Yes, people will reject me. Yes, এটা हुई ठीक है, समस्तों को बीत करे, right? सबके साथ होता है ये चीज. And let's face this truth today, right? And of course, survival in professional environment, as your professional environment requires you to be certain way, right? They will all any profession it be, it demands you that, right? And in order to meet with that, you need to you have to, or you ought to, whatever you say feel like, right? So it becomes a habit of yours to be that way, right? To portray some kind of image, to work for acceptance, yes, to always compete, to always advance through the various different challenges that you go through, right? So these all things happen with everyone in our daily lives, all right? So what we just discussed was what do we exactly hide? Why do we hide, right? Let me share my screen to go forward in the next point, all right? So we just discussed about the reasons why we hide, right? The consequences of living behind a mask is the next point that we are going to discuss, all right? The first thing is loss of identity. All right. The second is shallow relationship. And the third one is emotional burnout. I'll be talking about each other in a bit hurry. We don't have much time. So let's get into it. All right. So first things first, as I said, loss of identity. All right. So the consequences that we are talking about of living behind a mask. The first thing is that you being unique is not being portrayed or not getting there out to the world, all right? You always, as I said, you try to wear a mask to fit in, right? Over time, the constant nature of being behind a mask can lead to disconnection from your own true self, right? And that can be confusing for an individual. They may feel like, which exactly is my true self, the one that I'm portraying to the world, or the one that I truly feel I am, right? So it becomes a all very messy thing over a period of time. So it leads to unhappiness and a lot of things that happens when you feel like your true identity is not your identity in the society, right? This is something that happens with many of individuals, all right? uh, and I'm talking about the consequences of living behind a mask, all right? So please don't ask that what should I do in order to get rid of this. Yes, you need to open the mask and it's all done, right? You need to figure it out. Yes, so we'll be discussing about it going ahead, okay? So the next point was shallow relationships, right? So whenever you be in this particular, the thing that I want to convey through mask is that it could be anything. The mask could be anything. which is not your true self. Yes. Think about it. Spend some time, right? And you will get to know about it. Okay. Uh, Relationships built on um, individuals who are not true to the image that that individual portray. When relationships are built on that, they don't have that depth. Yes, they don't have that genuinity in that bond and connection. And it is often seen that over a period of time, that bonding fades away because the other person is not able to connect with you. Yes, it is not able to find a true self, the other self, right, with you, right? So the it also leads to shallow relationship, all right, and of course emotional burnout. Okay, uh, how can we ignore this point where we constantly being trying to portray this image leads us to uh, issues such as exhaustion. It could be mental, it could be emotional exhaustion, and that comes continuously from maintaining a false image, right? Because of which it all happens, right? Correct. So we just talked about the consequences of living behind a mask. Okay, let me share my screen so that we can proceed further. Yeah, the consequences of living behind a mask. Those are loss of identity, shallow relationship, emotional burnout, and let's move on to the next part, uh, which is the benefits of uh, authenticity in personal life. All right. So here is where I want all of you to pay attention. Okay. So what are the benefits that one can reap? REAP, reap, right? If you become authentic in your personal life, yes, the thing is, the first thing is, you'll be building a trust and deeper relationships. As I said, consequences matter already, that you will be building shallow relationship if you are someone who is living behind a mask. But if you're authentic, people will instantly connect with you and you will build trust and deeper relationships with them, right? Self acceptance and inner peace. You will accept yourself the way you are and you will not always try hard to maintain some kind of image which you are actually not. All right. So, second point is self acceptance and inner peace. All right. You will always be peaceful with whatever you are, whatever you earn, whatever you portray, or whatever you are, right? Basically. All right. So that will again lead to inner peace. All right. And of course, personal growth. Okay. So whenever you are authentic in your approach to living life, right, in all the approaches that you follow and make yourself available for the world, uh, you develop that trust, right? And it leads people to believe in you. Yes. And that again helps you to become a better version of yourself and grow as a person, and in order to become a better person, right? Yes, correct. So these are some of the benefits of being authentic in your personal life. But let's just have a look at the role of authenticity in professional life. All right. Yes, leadership and influence, of course, whenever you are authentic in the professional setup, you will always be loved by your colleagues. Yes, they always will try and will always have that proximity with you, the deeper level of connection that you build over work, right? Yes, so that will make you a leader, all right. And recently, when I was with my team, and when we were shooting, and it just wonderful quote came up to us, right? And it was something like, when you meet a manager, you feel that that manager or that individual is important. But when you meet a leader, you feel that you are important. Why is that? What exactly is the difference between someone who just manages and someone who leads, right? It is all about being authentic. Yes, how authentic you are towards your approach of handling or dealing with people. Both of them are doing the same thing, but in different approaches. All right. Yes. Moving ahead. Yeah. So yeah, collaboration and innovation. Of course, whenever you are authentic, people will always want to collaborate with you and get help from you and help you. Both of them. Yes, correct. So it will again lead to collaboration and innovation, and of course, long-term success. Correct. So whenever you are authentic, you will achieve long-term success, and this is something that is a truth from time in ages, right? Correct. So there is no replacement to that. Okay, there is no replacement to that. Yes, you until and unless you are authentic. Yep. Moving ahead. Overcoming the fear of authenticity. Yes, this is something again we all want to learn that it happens a lot that there's a fear, constant fear related to this. Yes, that always tries to uh, get us uh, by our lowest self or in the lowest point of ourselves where they always try, or the society always try to instill that this is how you should be and not how you think you should be, right? But you have to figure it out on your own. You cannot just always be dependent on the things that are being told to you and accept it by the way they are, right? Correct. So in order to achieve that, in order to overcome that fear, you need to be self-aware first, all right? And you need to reflect on yourself, all right? Uh, how many of you here might be IT professionals, and we do have various different concepts in management where we uh, try to learn more about our own personality, our own self, right? MBTI, 16 personality traits, right? And Johari window, right? And a lot of them which helps us to understand our true self. Yes, correct. And only by doing that you can understand the world outside in a better way. Okay. Yes. So being self-aware is the first thing, and reflecting your own thoughts, words, and reflecting on your thoughts, words, and actions is a must. All right. I'll repeat that: reflecting on your thoughts, words, and actions is important, because a lot of us just do things, think things, yes, say things, and we don't reflect on that one, and we don't introspect on that. If you want to know about introspection, go watch the previous live that I went from this very beautiful place. I talked about introspection, and that will help you to again know about the various different ways in which you can introspect. All right. Yes. Moving ahead. Yeah, embracing imperfection, correct? So each of us are different, correct? So and each of us are imperfect in our own ways, and it is a way for us to embrace it. Yes, yes, correct. So each of us have that flaw, correct? You must have seen this. uh, the products that are built on a assembly line are all identical, and they are trying to the intention behind producing them is to cut the cost. All right. The mass production, correct? But when a artisan, when a painter builds something from their own, in from their hand, it could be imperfect. It could not have that robot like precision that is there in the product that is built over a conveyor belt and the assembly line. But here, the imperfection that we have in the painting or the piece of art that an individual creates or makes, that makes it worth crores. That makes it a unique piece, right? There is no second piece available in the world like this, that piece of art, right? So that is something that I wanted to say, that embrace your flaws, your imperfections. Don't think that I'll be try to be perfect in every way possible. All right. Yes, and it also leads you to have that courage to stand alone. If you are self-aware, if you know about your own true self, if you are authentic throughout your communication and your work, it helps you to stand alone. Why should I be afraid if I have not done something wrong, if I have not said something wrong, if I have not thought something wrong, right? Again, thoughts, words, and actions, right? So it helps you to stand alone and face the different challenges that you face if you are authentic enough. Yes, and those who are not authentic enough will always have this constant fear of getting revealed, right? Yes, and दुनिया को पता चल जाएगा मेरे बारे में सच क्या है, right? उससे बचने के लिए they try to portray an image of themselves, right? And yes, of course, the most important thing, living authentically in a digital age. How can we do this when everyone is trying to show off, everyone is trying to pretend, everyone is trying to just make a virtual perception about them, their own self, no matter what they are doing in their personal, professional, and social life, right? So that it's all about that virtual image that people try to create, right? So how to deal with it? Yes, social media versus reality. Yes, we need to understand that all that we see over social media is not true. Yes, you need to address your to your own self the gap that exists between the curated lives or the crafted lives that individual form to show others versus the life, the actual reality behind them, right? You need to understand the gap between them, all right? And you always need not have that pressure to also be doing it on your own, right? Yes. And the second point was digital minimalism, all right? Please, I cannot emphasize on this point more that we all are getting highly involved in the digital world, all right? And that is somehow or the other. I mean, I'm trying to say it for the most of individuals, right? And those, if you who are mindful about it, please don't get offended. But we are being this generation and this individuals who are highly involved uh, to the digital and this world of tech, right? But that is somehow or the other killing, let me use this term, killing our own true self, our own true version of uh, being the real one, right? So we tend to compare ourselves from with others. Yes, and we tend to focus on the digital aspects of various things, which are always staged and not real, right? So we need to cut off ourselves from those things a bit, right? And it's always about finding a balance. Okay, life doesn't exist at extremes. You always have to find a middle path. You always have to find a balance. That balance could be that balance for you could be different from someone else. Okay, according to your necessity and other stuff. All right. Yes. So finding balance is the key. Correct. Yes. So moving on to the next part. I'm actually sorry for extending this a bit, but yeah, I'll be ending this soon. And I would like to request you to please end, please wait till the end so that we can have a very wonderful uh, part for specifically for today. All right. So the last point that I want to talk about is authenticity in communication. All right. Yes. Authenticity is something that cannot be replaced. Yes, and authentic communication is in personal relationships, develop trust and deeper connections. This is not hidden from anyone, right? In professional setting, it enhances your credibility, your leadership abilities, and your ability to bond and do teamwork with your colleagues, right? Yes, and in society, in the societal structure, in the social form, being genuine is in public interactions or in social media increases influence and respect by aligning your words with your actions, right? Correct. So these are some of the few reasons why you should be authentic and with what will be helping you when you are authentic going ahead. All right. So today is 2nd of October, and how can we forget this uh, individual who we call as the father of our nation, right? So legacy of Mahatma Gandhi, beacon to truth and authenticity is something that we are going to see. And the first thing that is um, I want to talk is Gandhi's commitment to truth. All right. Let me be honest, very honest with you. Yes, there is no right or wrong answer to any approach, right? कुछ भी 100% सही, कुछ भी 100% गलत नहीं होगा, right? There is certain stream or there is certain wave where because of something people started to do something, right? It could be because of some kind of information, it could be because of some kind of influence and others. उसके वजह से उनका एक परसेप्शन बन जाता है, but you never know what that information is. Could be flawed, yes, could be scripted, could be formed, right? So why am I talking about this is that I observe a bit lot, and I have seen that people these days are getting very much polarized. Yes, either this or that. Hamesha they try to take a side, right? But without understanding the various different things that they should be considerate about, you know, about the other perspective or the other side as well, so that they can also see through the selection of choice, right? It's not always this or that, right? Life is not in black or white, right? It always in the gray part, right? So yeah, the reason trying to say here is that many people these days are having this negative notion and they hate things. They just hate things, and they even don't know why. But we need to understand and learn from each of them, right? Correct. So Gandhi's commitment to truth is something that we all need to learn from. The approach of him, which uh, led him to lead others through satyagraha, right, is something that we all should be learning on. We all should learn from, right? Inspiration from personal authenticity. Yes, he is an inspiration to many, and he was authentic to himself is something that I would like to believe. Because if he was not, then he would not have been able to deliver the same to the world, right? The global impact of authenticity, yes, again, this is derived from the top one, right? Whenever you are authentic to your own self, authentic to your own self, the world will always observe it, and they will always try to accept you the way you are. And at times, it's always about how you portray yourself, right? Not something that you are not, but something that you are actually uh, within, right? Correct. Yes, last but not least, let's talk about the quote that I want to quote from Mahatma Gandhi. Yes, and it's to believe in something and not to live it is dishonest. All right. What is dishonesty? Right? To believe in something and not to live it is dishonesty. All right. So this was about the whole thing, right? So here to summarize, we discussed about understanding what exactly authenticity is and what does it mean, and the mask that we wear and why do we hide, the consequences of living behind a mask, benefits of authenticity in personal and professional life, overcoming the fear of authenticity, living authentically in digital age, living or authenticity in communication, and the reason why we celebrate Mahatma Gandhi, right? Because of the enormous amount of good deeds and authentic uh, abilities that he shared. Yes, being someone who always practiced it with his own self, right? So yeah, this was about the whole thing today. If you have any queries, any questions, anything that you want to ask or share, please drop it in the comment below and I'll be personally reviewing them and replying to them. All right. Thank you so much once again, everyone, for sticking around and watching this video till this point of time. If you are, then please type in the comments below your takeaways. All right. What did you learn from this video? Please share them in the comments below and share this video with those, with your friends, your families, and with those whom you think will be benefited from this video. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much once again, everyone, for tuning into this video. I will catch you up in the next wonderful session where we'll be talking about yet another wonderful topic. Till then, take care of yourself and looking forward to meeting with you soon. Thank you so much.